it do, y'all? This is your boy Sherry Speech. What I want to talk to you guys about Season 3 episode, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Season 3 episode 14, Amazing Grace. And right now, wait a second, is that Drew from Degrassi? Oh, snap. So we see a kid go to Memphis 1950. He looks like he's trying to buy a special something of another. You know, the guitar salesman's like, I got something just for you, and it looks like to be, it's probably Elvis's guitar, it looks like. And I gotta say, this is pretty cool. To see Drew back in the flesh, I haven't seen the guy since Degrassi. That is dope. I know you guys can't see me right now, like my light is off, specifically because I don't want to wake anyone else up in the house. Yeah, actually, you saw the kid as soon as he grabbed the guitar, the light started to flicker. So he sits down, he gets ready to play it. Plays a few licks, and the light keeps getting brighter and brighter. Almost like the guitar itself is, I guess you could say, a beacon for restoration, so to speak, metaphorically speaking. This is pretty dope. So the guy says, "Look, man, it's yours, because all that increased light creeps him the hell out." So he's like, "Look, kid, it's yours." So that must be the anachronism. We're back. So right now, Zari's showing Wally around the Wave Rider, and it was a little bit difficult, as we all know, for Wally to get adjusted to being on the Wave Rider, away from up in space, away from Central City, away from his family and whatnot. So Zari, opted, to show him around the Wave Rider, her room, and things like that. So, obviously Wally has no problem. Obviously, Wally would have no problem moving his stuff in because he's a speedster. He can move it in at the speed of light if he really wanted to. Obviously, Zari saw that, she was pretty pissed off about that. She's like, okay, well, you don't need any help here. So she looks like she's getting ready to play play the video games. She probably wanted to go up against Wally. And she was playing Miss Pac-Man. And Wally, she found out someone beat her score. And Wally was like, that's the thing about Miss Pac-Man. You don't go for the fruit. You go for the ghosts. It's always the ghosts. And she's like, I know that, but I hope no one else messes with any more of my stuff. So you can see that Zara is beginning to get a little agitated, if you will, by Wally's presence and the fact that he can press super speed and things of that nature. But we'll see how it goes. Alright guys, so they track down, they notice that Elvis is the anachronism, so they go to 1954 to see what's up. So it turns out, they go to see Elvis, at his grandfather's church, he's preaching, whatever. And it turns out that guitar, holds a very key element, which happens to be mysterious, what I believe to be the mysterious totem that they've been looking for. And actually, so much so that Zari's totem starts to make her float. It starts to react to that little tiny jewel within that guitar. And so the thing is, they start to realize that Elvis is a totem bearer. So Elvis goes up there in the saloon to play a few licks on his guitar, but it doesn't go so well, and he doesn't feel like he's misconnected with, the guitar itself. He used to go up there and play with his brother Jesse, and he said, just as he told Nate and Maya, that pretty much, without a guitar, he pretty much doesn't feel like himself, He said it's more than just a guitar, He doesn't feel like himself because, without, those skills, he doesn't feel like he's Elvis Presley. Okay, so now it's one thing after another, and now apparently the ghost of Elvis is trying to take back his guitar. As we just saw, Sarah and Ray were at the drawing board trying to figure out what was going on. All of a sudden the guitar started to move on its own, and we saw the apparition of Elvis appear. And he's trying to take his property back, and he's not taking it lightly. He's not taking it back via suggestions or requests or whatever term you want to use. It's getting real, y'all. It's getting real. And so now, Wally's literally gliding across the Wave Rider, literally. Trying to keep a hold of the guitar, and Zari and Rory are trying to keep a hold of it, And Nate is pretty much sitting there. Nate and Maya are sitting there talking with the kid Elvis. So Sarah says, let the guitar go. And so Elvis is just explaining his story as to how connected he is to his guitar, because as Maya said, she said, objects, keep us in touch with our ancestors or something to that variation. Alright, so Nate is trying to convince Sarah and the rest of the Wave Riders that Elvis needs to play one song to change the course of history. As Nate put it, it changed everything, caused revolutions, made people feel good, changed the landscape of history and the world, and so forth. And so he said, even it caused me to lose my virginity. So now we see Elvis recording his first song. I gotta say, man, Luke Blick really is a really cool actor, man. I really enjoy, like as I mentioned before, I really enjoyed his work in Degrassi, and right now we see Elvis jamming out. So things are going to take a long turn for the left as as Elvis's uncle comes in and arrests him, his own nephew, and Ray and Nate and Amaya, because according to him, he's creating the devil's music and things of that nature. But also before that, as Elvis was recording the hit song, Nate, brushes up on how this musical moment is very essential to everything, to which Amaya said, listen, we have many moments. We watched an episode on Netflix, a whole series on Netflix together. We say the word from dinosaurs, things of that nature, and so forth. To which Nate said, listen, I mean, that's very true, and I enjoyed all those together. But, this is something different. This is something very, very special. And now we're going to try to figure out how these guys get out of jail. Alright guys, so right now we hear Zari tell Wyatt, listen, because Nate just called Zari and said, listen, I need you guys to get that record from Elvis's uncle from the church to put on the radio station tonight. And then to which Wyatt said, you know what guys, I think this is the right time, for my powers to come right in and save the day. I can easily just go run and get the record. And which Zari said, listen, you don't need to just always, run in and get the job done. You need to talk to people. You need to do things like that. You need to be a staple instead of, I forget the term that she actually used. You get, so she pretty much said, you need to be able to get things done step by step and not so quick in a hurry. You can't just run up in, sure, in Central City, when your bank robbery's going on, you can go in there and save the day and get a key to the city, but this is time. You can't do that. So, now, Jar said, okay, now let's go to the church and talk to people like normal people. Talk to the churchgoers like normal people. As Mick was eating his sandwich, he realized that Axel the rat dipped into something a little bit more potent and poisonous and was unfortunately dead, and which really hurt Mick's feelings. Ray said, next time we can get and pick up another one during the time bureau. He said, all right, I'm getting enough of this too much change around here. And now we're going to jail where Elvis is recording the acoustic version of Jailhouse Rock, which I think is it's actually one of my favorite songs of his. I think it actually is my favorite song of his. Alright, so Nate tells Elvis, look, there's no easy way to say this, but when we get out of here, we're going to need that guitar. It has a very special power. To which Elvis says, look, I can't do that. I can't play without Jesse. Elvis said, before Jesse came along, there were songs, but there wasn't really any music. And Nate just tells him, like, listen, even after he's gone, you're still going to have music. I mean, that's why you play, isn't it? How Nate finished it off right here. He says, the reason why it matters is because music sticks around stays alive long after you're gone. Wally tugs on the heartstrings with this one. Wally goes up to Elvis's uncle and says, I think you're afraid of losing your nephew. I think you guys are both afraid of losing something. And I feel like, if you guys could just come together and try to understand each other, you guys would find out you can reach some common ground somehow. Because Wally said, look, my dad came into my life very, very late, and we had a hard time trying to understand each other. But it wasn't until I got on my own that I realized me and him got a lot closer. And that's very true, because even though, it took me a while to get close to my dad, I wasn't really close to my father either. So it wasn't until I got off on my own that me and him actually got closer, So, and we had those little deep discussions in which I always cherished, the good and the bad. So I definitely can relate to that. Success goes to Team Wave Rider once again. The uncle gives up the record, Wally brings it to the radio station just in time. Everyone's digging a foot to it. It's going pretty well. Glad to see it happen. I love how Wally just went to go dance with Zari against her better judgment. You know, he starts to dab a little bit. He goes to the twist. He remembers what time he's in. You know, now we see all the spirits navigate towards the church house. Everyone's getting down. This is wonderful. Okay, so the ghosts are wreaking havoc. You know, in the church house, Wally and Zari are fending them off. Even Axel the Rat's ghost came back. This is crazy. Aya realizes that Elvis can wade spirits. He can guide them in any direction. He can either take them away, you know, put them right where they need to be, or pretty much the totem gives him influence. Let's just say. All right, so Elvis, with the mercy from his uncle, decides to say, "Look, I'm gonna put an end to this." So he starts singing "Amazing Grace" and bringing the souls home. Oh, that is amazing. Alright, so while he was performing Amazing Grace, I always said, "Listen, Jesse, I thank you for teaching me everything you know, but it doesn't go by forever. You'll always be with me." And so now they have the Death Totem. That's the mysterious totem they've been looking for, that the Darks don't have. Death Totem's powers are not to be taken lightly. You are absolutely right, Zari. But luckily for Ray, thinking steps ahead, he created encrypted lock boxes for each of the totems, so then that way, each one could stay out of harm's way and be secured away forever without having his powers abused of. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, I'm pretty sure the Death Totem isn't supposed to move on its own. Oh boy, I know next week's is gonna be something crazy. This is your boy Speaks though. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys subscribe for more content. God bless.